Good morning and welcome to Social Work 965, Human Sexuality, Issues for Social Work Practice. This is the summer of 2019, Summer 1 session, and I'm Leah Doherty. I'll be the instructor for this course. So welcome. I'm going to spend a little bit of time going over the syllabus and explaining the assignments, telling you a little bit about the setup for this course. I feel like the audio is not great right here. All right. So anyway, I'm going to switch the screen here so you can see the syllabus. Oh, that wasn't it. Now you should be able to see the syllabus. Okay, so the course is Human Sexuality for Social Work Practice, and recognizing that human sexuality is an integral part of every person, couple, we should look at the ways in which we can incorporate issues of sexuality and human development into our assessment and interventions. So as a profession, social work has affirmed the rights of all individuals historically, and in 2019 we continue to evolve our understanding and appreciation and practice skills, with working with all kinds of individuals and sexual practices. So we're going to talk about a little bit about everything in this course. We will look at policy and research, and we're also going to look at current events as part of the class. All right, so then going down to course description, we'll look at the biological, psychological, and sociological aspects of sexual development across the lifespan, including contemporary issues and their implications for social work practice, policy, and research. We're going to look at beliefs and attitudes towards sexuality. We're going to look at areas of oppression. We're going to talk about ethical issues. We'll talk about some history of sexuality and contemporary understandings of sexuality, and then we'll kind of wrap it up with discussion of evidence-based practices and how you can incorporate these into your work either currently or in the future. So the objectives is that you will be able to identify and explicate major theoretical concepts regarding sexual development and how these relate to social work practice. Again, look at the contemporary issues, research, limitations of research, and discrimination and oppression, and some of the same things I've already said. Okay, so getting to the meat and potatoes of the course, the learning resources. The first is that there is a textbook, Sexuality Concepts for Social Workers, published by a company called Cognella. So it was available through the Marywood bookstore. You could purchase it through the company and or Amazon or other sites. A second edition is coming out in the fall, so you should have been able to pick this up hopefully a little bit cheaper than its purchase price, which I know hovers around $100. I do know that because they are putting together a second edition, there are a few things in this text that no longer work, including some of the links. So I'll provide updates throughout the class for things I know that don't work. The second thing you'll need to purchase is a memoir of your choice, and I'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to it. And then there will be journal articles and material from the internet posted on Moodle. Okay, so assignments. So the first is discussion forums. If you've ever done a hybrid or an online course before utilizing Moodle, maybe in your undergrad, maybe you use DTL or Blackboard or a similar kind of mechanism, this is where I'll post some questions. You'll answer the questions. Possibly what's a little bit different is that, sorry about that, I had to answer that other phone. So we were talking about the forum posts, and that one of the differences is after you post your original posting, you will then within 2 days go in and read some of your classmates' postings, and you will post at least one question to 2 of your classmates so that you will have engage in a conversation, a short conversation with them by you posting questions to them, and then within the next 2 days them answering your questions. And that timeline will be laid out very specifically on Moodle on the weeks when there are forums. And there are 3 forums throughout this course, throughout the 6 weeks. And you'll see the due dates there. This week there'll be a forum, the week of June 3rd and the week of June 17th. This first week I'll give you a little extra time since we are just starting the course. So I will move it out, and it'll actually go into next week a little bit. All right, then chat sessions are the second thing, and we will use what's called Google Hangouts, and I will send out a little survey at the beginning here, a getting to know you questionnaire, and as part of that I'll ask you if you've ever used Google Hangouts, and if you're not, I'll set up a time with you so that we can have a very brief conversation while you're sitting at your computer so I can show you how to connect to Google Hangouts. This is not a video chat, these are just text chats. We'll have 4 or 5 students in a chat at a time, and we'll be talking about the readings for the week or anything else that I post to Moodle that we'll be discussing. So you will have several times to choose from on the weeks that there are chats. I do them usually in the evenings, but I'll get a sense when I do your getting to know you survey if I have anybody who works nights, like second shift. But they're 30-minute chats. I'll limit it, like I said, 3, 4, 5 students per chat, and we'll log on all at the same time, and I'll pose some questions. It's just like class discussion. What did you think of chapter 1? What was, the most interesting thing? Do you have any questions? That kinds of discussion. I'll share some more information with you during the chats. So if you have any questions as we're preparing for those, please let me know. Next is 2 quizzes. There are 2 10-point quizzes. I will give you 11 questions. They are points, not percentages. You're building up to 100 points in this course. So if you get 8 correct answers out of 11, don't panic thinking you've got like a 77 on the quiz. You really got 8 points. Okay, that's what's important on the quizzes. So you have 11 questions to get 10. 10 is the max, so 10 points. They will be based on readings. I will give you very specific information like a study guide for what from the readings to look at, and then I will include 1 or 2 questions that are licensure-like questions, more practice-related questions. Okay, and those quizzes are the weekends of June 7th to 9th, so they'll open on a Friday, close at midnight on Sunday. They're timed. So you'll have 20 minutes to do the quiz. They are not open book. They are not group. We are very serious in our online courses that there is honesty and integrity. And if there's any question that you possibly cheated on the quiz, it is open for dismissal from Marywood University. So please take that seriously. And then the last quiz is the last weekend of the course. I don't know if I already said this, but they're multiple choice questions. All right, the next assignment is a current human sexuality issue paper. This is similar to other papers that you've done, although not necessarily as long. You're going to locate in the media a story about an issue related to human sexuality, and I take that very broadly. And then your task is to go find at least 3 related literature materials, journal articles, government reports, institute reports that are related to the topic of the news article, and to use the professional literature to expand your knowledge of the topic from the news article. So you start the paper by explaining to me what it was in the newspaper, and then you're writing an essay about the additional information that you've gathered related to this topic that will inform you personally and professionally. My whole point in this is that I hope that you're going to be lifelong learners. You're going to read something in the paper or on the internet, and you're going to want to know more about what's being said about this topic professionally. And so you'll be out doing, Google searches or abstract searches, through like EBSCOhost or another database. Again, if you have any questions on this, please let me know. The next is a policy assignment. You're going to look at a state or federal policy enacted in the last 5 years that's related to human sexuality, and you're going to answer the questions that I post on Moodle. It's very straightforward. You identify the policy, you explain briefly what the policy is, you answer the questions, and then the second half of that is that you're going to identify legislation that's not yet enacted but has been introduced, and you're going to tell me a little bit about what it is that you want to follow. Something that's been introduced in this year's House or Senate or State House. Again, I'll have more information on that as we get closer to the middle of June. The final assignment is really kind of two parts. It's F and G on the syllabus. It's evidence-based practice fact sheet. This is a 2-page kind of handout where you're going to pick an evidence-based practice and you're going to create a fact sheet following, the things that I list on Moodle that should be included on the fact sheet, which is, a description, a purpose, the findings, the successes, the limitations. And again, I'll have a video with more instructions as that gets closer. I am strict in that only each student, for the course, there are 20 of you. We have to have 20 different evidence-based practices. So no 2 students will do the same evidence-based practice. This way, it's an opportunity for all of you to learn from each other. And that leads to the second part, which is evidence-based practice in the real world, which is there will be a phone call scheduled. You'll be matched up with a partner, and you'll be given some questions about your evidence-based practice in the real world. Is it being utilized in Eastern Pennsylvania, Southern Tier New York, wherever it is you're from, New Jersey, and if not, what would it take to implement your evidence-based practice? And you guys will have a brief phone conversation with each other, and then you'll type up one summary paper, usually it's about 2 to 3 pages, about your phone conversation. This is very similar to if we were in class and I matched you up and we took 20 minutes in class to talk about, what you did, and then you're going to come back and report to the class. Well, instead of reporting to the class, you share the information with me. And then last 2 things, as I mentioned earlier, there's going to be a Getting to Know You survey posted to Moodle today. Please fill that out and submit it through Moodle. And then what I call a mid-semester check-in during the week of June 3rd. Please set up a time via text. Again, it's much easier to communicate with me via text than email. I don't have email notifications on my phone, so I only check it a couple times a day. But if you need to get in touch with me, I'm happy to have you text me. Basically from 7 in the morning till 11 at night is fair game. So shoot me a text if you have a question. For the mid-semester check-in, shoot me a text with, when you want to have a phone call. We'll set up a time that we can talk to each other for 5 or 10 minutes. And that's the time when you'll tell me what you also want to do your evidence-based practice brief on. And then the last assignment is a book assignment. I have a list of books on Amazon. If you search for me by find a list, and then you put in my email, leahdoherty@comcast.net, you should see my public lists, and one of the lists is for human sexuality. So you look through the list of memoirs I have there, and you pick one, and the best way, again, to communicate with me is to shoot me a text and say, hey, can I do this memoir? I'll know if someone else has picked that memoir. If you get the go-ahead, then I will say, please list your memoir on Moodle in the spot where it says list your memoir here. And that's just so I have a running list of who picked what book. And again, if you have any questions on that, let me know. And we will be discussing the memoir in our final chat session, in a specific chat for the memoir. Okay, so that really is an overview of the syllabus and what to expect in this course. This will be as interactive as you want it to be in terms of communicating with me. I'm happy to talk with you as often as you want, answer questions, and hopefully you have a good learning experience in this human sexuality class. Welcome to Summer 1, and have a great day.